The preparation of beef and pork for human consumption has always been closely tied to livestock raising, technological change, government regulation, and urban market demand. From the Civil War until the 1920s, Chicago was the country's largest meatpacking center and the acknowledged headquarters of the industry.
Well, as the foremost leader in historical studies, I will say that the most interesting period outside of Reconstruction would probably be the Progressive Era. Now, the Progressive Era is a unique time in American history when so many immigrants are coming to the country, and at the same time, while industry is booming, the cities are consistently overcrowded. Lots of issues with sanitation, lots of issues with growing union concerns occurring. And so America is in a time of turmoil, specifically in the big cities, places like New York, where the meatpacking is going crazy, in places like Chicago, where you have for the first time a number of different immigrants from a number of Eastern European and Southern European countries who aren't English speakers, and who, for the most part, bring the scary nature of Catholicism with them, along with ideas of socialism and anarchism. So they're considered a scary group. There's a group of reformers out there who want to help those cities become the American dream, but really, how can they be when there are so many problems occurring? So it's a unique time in American history, especially in the big cities. It's a great time to study. And you can read my book, Progressives and America, which I wrote in 2002.
After the 1880s, immigrants increasingly came from Eastern and Southern European countries. By 1910, Eastern and Southern Europeans made up 70% of the immigrants entering the country.
Escaping religious, racial, and political persecution or seeking relief from a lack of economic opportunity pushed many immigrants towards these American shores.
I come to America to work, try to make dream. But conditions here are terrible. I work all day, my feet are cold, my hands are cold. I cut myself with knife. My boss no care. He say, you work. I don't get no money. My wife is sick. I can't pay for my kids to go to school. This place sucks, man. I'm going back to Lithuania.
One of the most famous stories of the hardships faced by immigrants, and indeed an example of mismanagement and exploitation in large cities, was the Triangle Shirtwaist Company fire. In short, the owners were accused of locking the doors to the stairwells to keep mostly female employees working without breaks. When the fire broke out one day, over 100 women died. Many jumped to their deaths to the streets below. Families had to go to the factory and look upon rows and rows of bodies to identify their loved ones. The owners, Max Blank and Isaac Harris, were arrested and faced charges, but the grand jury failed to indict them and they were set free. Of course, I've heard of the Triangle Shirtwaist Company factory fire. Everybody knows about that fire. It's all over the newspapers. Let me tell you one thing about that fire. This is typical liberal media bringing up one small case of one little fire in one little factory, might I remind you, run by immigrants themselves. Those boys, Max and Isaac, they're immigrants themselves. They don't really have an established family in this country the way my family has been established. What do you expect when immigrants are the bosses of immigrants? This is what we get. The companies I run hire immigrants. I know this. I hire them myself. Where do you think these people are coming from? They're coming from Europe. Why are they coming to America? Because they have an opportunity here that I provide for them. So when people say that the factory owners abuse the workers and don't give them rights and don't pay them enough, then why are they coming across a 3,000-mile ocean to work in these conditions if they are, as they say, that bad?
I think not. The conditions to me in my factories are run to a very strict standard, and I cannot and will not allow a few immigrant owners to stain my family name and others like me. This country, they say, is built by immigrants. Who is paying for all of this is what I want you to think about. Who hires these people? Who gives them these opportunities to so-called build this country? I've said enough.